only to see a student from the exam in the distance. He is chasing after a specter of malevolent spirit level madly. The chainsaw ghost that had just collapsed wanted to leave, but Luis couldn't agree. The defense breaking level has reached 80%. How can he let him go so easily? Soon the chainsaw ghost was caught up, and Luis directly rolled up his sleeves in an arrogant manner. Passing by, don't miss it. Come and taste a freshly baked human arm. Seeing the situation, Chainsaw Ghost abruptly stopped and revved the chainsaw. I've had enough. I'll fight you. Luis, who was already prepared, immediately widened his right eye, with the activation of the Dojutsu blood domain illusion. The Chainsaw Ghost, who was prepared to swing, was instantly immobilized in place. Then Luis stepped forward and shook his arm. Come on, eat up. It's very delicious. My arm is fat but not greasy. Lean but not tough, he said, as he patted the immobilized Chainsaw Ghost. Eat. Why aren't you opening your mouth to eat? System detected that Chainsaw Ghost's defense breaking has reached 90%. 9% more until directly contracting with the host. Luis teases Chainsaw Ghost while silently counting down the end of blood domain illusion. When there is only 1 second left, Luis immediately pulled back his arm so that the Chainsaw Ghost bit into thin air. At the same time, he didn't forget to taunt a few words. It seems like you don't like eating meat, huh? Well, forget it then. At this point, Chainsaw Ghost's mindset completely collapsed. It also emitted a terrifying ghost energy. The system detected that Chainsaw Ghost's defense breaking has reached 99%. The host can choose to forcefully sign the contract. Luis's eyes gleamed with a triumphant look. Hand me the contract to sign. Mr. Chainsaw Ghost, would you like to become Luis's third contracted ghost? Okay. Thank you for your approval. I am currently signing the contract. This directly confused Chainsaw Ghost. I didn't say anything, but he just finished complaining. He turned into a stream of ghost energy and gathered towards Luis's arm, accompanied by an image of a chainsaw. The system prompts. Congratulations on signing successfully. This scene was seen by the examination teacher outside the hospital. Earlier, the Chainsaw Ghost was still shouting that he would kill his entire family. How did he suddenly get contracted in the next second? It's worth noting that even the Security Bureau's master can't handle a forced contract operation. This kid is indeed a bit interesting. Meanwhile, the hospital's broadcast announced the elimination of the Chainsaw Ghost, leaving only a malevolent spirit-level Specter. This news shocked the two classmates who were hoping for Luis's death. Impossible. He only contracted a medium vengeful ghost. How could he be a match for the Chainsaw Ghost? However, Luis just returned to the ward. He heard Lily and Zion's defense breaking point as soon as he arrived. Luis found it both amusing and exasperating. These two really live up to being my good classmates. I didn't even have time to deal with them, yet they kept adding points for me incessantly. Later, Luis opened the attribute panel of Chainsaw Ghost. This loyalty is a bit low. However, Chainsaw Ghost should be easy to deceive due to its simplicity. After the exam is over, I'll buy him a few pounds of meat to appease him. The loyalty should probably improve then. Thinking about this, Luis looked at Chainsaw Ghost's skill column. Defense breaking points are quite impressive as well. Then I'll just activate 2 skills for him directly. Chainsaw Ghost's skill Bloodthirsty increases damage by 2 points for every point of damage taken. Chainsaw Ghost's second skill, Chainsaw Rampage. It swings the chainsaw wildly, causing indiscriminate strikes to those around it. After reading the introduction, Luis couldn't help but exclaim in amazement. Now he is another warrior who can both withstand damage and deal output. Look around. At this point, Luis's level is at least higher than 90% of his peers. But his only flaw. However, the Ghost Tamer level is equivalent to the contracted ghost. First layer Ghost Master can only manipulate vengeful ghosts. The second layer corresponds to spirit level, and the third layer corresponds to evil spirit level. And Luis can only control malevolent spirits like Chainsaw Ghost, which are vengeful ghosts. he is still somewhat struggling. If he over-controls them, there is a high probability that the contracted ghost will lose control. In that case, he might end up getting hurt. This poses a dilemma for Louise. Having high loyalty can reduce the risk of losing control, but with Chainsaw Ghost at only 5%, it's better not to risk it. It seems he needs to improve his ghost tamer power as soon as possible. Thinking this, Louise yawned. After tossing and turning all night, he was already exhausted. He then fell straight into bed and drifted off to sleep. When the sun rose again from the ghost domain of the exam, Louise walked out of the ICU ward chewing bread. Coincidentally, he met Lily and Zion, who had been hungry all night, hearing the growling sounds from their stomachs. Louise intentionally asked if you hadn't had breakfast. Just right, I, Ward, have some leftover hot pot broth. Why don't you guys have that first? Sure enough, under Louise's sarcasm, Lily and Zion were so angry that their back teeth were almost bitten off. Congratulations to host for winning 60 defense breaking points. At this time, the short-haired girl also walked out of the ward. She soon noticed the disdainful looks from the crowd. Why are you all looking at me like that? Louise gave a cold laugh. Amara, when you see that the corridor is covered in bloodstains, don't you have anything to say? Because Amara wanted to survive. She forced her boyfriend to give up residential rights at the cost of breaking up. This resulted in Kenneth's arm being sawed off alive last night. I don't even have the contracted ghost. How can I save him? Moreover, he voluntarily transferred the residential rights to me. Why are you meddling in others' affairs so much? After hearing that, Louise was so angry that he directly confronted. You can't save him. But you also said you would kneel down and beg everyone to save him. But last night, you didn't say a word. Now you actually shifted the blame to Kenneth, which reminds me of the farmer and the viper. Amara, who was exposed, turned red with anger. But she didn't want to explode in front of everyone. Congratulations to host for winning 50 defense breaking points. Actually, Louise was not trying to earn points in this round. He just couldn't stand Amara's approach, so he fought back. At this moment, the examination teacher above the hospital reminded, the level A ghost domain has now entered Battle Royale mode. Currently, there is 1 medium malevolent spirit left and 3 inferior vengeful ghosts. They will relentlessly chase after you. If you hold on until noon, you will pass the exam. He had just finished speaking when Lily suddenly felt a bit panicked. Last night's chainsaw ghost was only an inferior malevolent spirit, but incredibly powerful. And now, a medium malevolent spirit has just arrived. Zion on the side also became worried. The ghosts we've contracted are only inferior vengeful ghosts. Even if we team up, we won't be a match for it. At this moment, the yellow-haired man subconsciously said, let's run. But he was immediately vetoed by Lily. Where to run? Do you know where the malevolent spirit is? What if we run into its territory? Amara in the distance was so anxious that she almost peed herself, shouting, then what should we do? She completely failed to notice the danger approaching her. Lily scolded angrily. Shut up. What we? You are you. It has nothing to do with us. At this moment, Louise noticed the abnormality behind Amara. He saw a formless ghost approaching her head, which was exactly the medium malevolent spirit Specter from the hospital. Seeing that no one else seemed to notice, Louise felt a sense of doubt creeping into his mind. Why can't they see it? Could it be because I have the blood-eye ghost? So he immediately covered his blood eye and confirmed it again. Sure enough, he couldn't see the ghostly shadow on the wall anymore. Louise couldn't help but feel secretly pleased. Wow, blood-eyed ghost, you can actually see things that normal people can't see. Later, Louise confidently said to everyone, do you guys want to know where the ghost is? He then pointed towards Amara and said, the ghost is right behind her. His sudden confidence left Lily and the others speechless. Are you here to tell jokes? You're talking as if it's real. Do you think you have superpowers? Just as Amara was about to join in with some comments. With a PUCI sound, Her stomach suddenly burst open by Ghost's claw. This scene stunned everyone. Is she going to give birth? She looked horror-stricken at the big hole in her stomach and cried out for help. But everyone had already been so scared that they kept retreating. There really are ghosts. The yellow-haired man trembled as he looked around. But where is the ghost? Just then, Amara's body was suddenly divided into 3 segments, accompanied by the broadcast announcement, "Amara out!" Lily and the other 2 were left even more bewildered. They didn't even see a ghost. The person was tortured to death so cruelly. Louis shook his head helplessly. I said there were ghosts, but you didn't believe me. He has no sympathy for Amara at all. If she weren't so selfish, she would have lost just an arm at most to save her life last night. And she wouldn't end up unable to even obtain a complete corpse now. Thinking of this, Louis quickly retreated. Anyway, I have the blood eye to see the traces of the formless ghost. I just need to hold on until midnight. At this moment, Lily suddenly froze for a moment, because Amara's arm was suddenly lifted by something. This should be because the formless ghost is invisible, which is why we cannot see it. After saying that, she chased after Louis. Hurry and catch up with him. Perhaps because his right eye has the blood eye and can see things that ordinary people can't see. As soon as this was said, Zion felt like he had missed out on $1 billion. Damn it. He was picked by this dog creature and found a treasure. At this moment, Louis turned around and took a look. He was directly irritated by the 3 followers behind him. The formless ghost is chasing the 3 of them, and they are chasing me. Doesn't that mean the formless ghost is chasing me? It's really troublesome. I have to find a way to shake them off. At this moment, the chainsaw ghost inside him suddenly emerged. I must kill it. This damn ghost. Louis asked somewhat incredulously, Do you have a grudge with it? It has taken away quite a bit of my flesh. The chainsaw ghost said, its mood somewhat irritable. It seems to want to break free from the constraints of the contract. Louis seems a bit panicked by the situation. It looks like I have to help him kill the formless ghost before he is willing to submit to me. Later, Louis decided not to run anymore. Chainsaw Ghost's 5% loyalty not increasing. Sooner or later, he will become a big trouble for me. And then the others behind also stopped in their tracks. Why aren't you running? Have you already shaken off the ghost? I'm too lazy to run. Why not just kill the formless ghost directly? Yellow-haired man quickly grabbed him when he heard that. Brother, you are the only one who can see ghosts now. Just lead us out. After we escape, I will introduce my cousin to you. Louis pursed his lips. You better leave your over 300-pound cousin to someone else. He saw him walk towards formless ghost. Lily sneered. He's courting death. That's a medium malevolent spirit. Even the school teachers are not confident in subduing it. Zion, however, reminded Lily not to bother. Let's quickly find a place to hide. If he dies, no one will compete with you for the MVP. At this moment, the formless ghost moved swiftly along the wall. In the blink of an eye, it opened its huge bloody mouth and pounced towards Louis. And its actions were seen by the examination teacher. At the same time, he also transmitted the live feed to exam headquarters, displaying everything each student was doing in the ghost domain. A teacher in a blue shirt said bitterly, All the students taking the exam in the grave of the living dead ghost domain failed. For severely injured, 3 dead. Another teacher with white hair next to him mourned. The same here. All 8 students in the train of the undead ghost domain were so scared that they ended up in a mental hospital. At this point, the teacher in the blue shirt looked at the beautiful teacher next to him and asked, Abel, how about your side? On my side, there are still 4 students. This young man was supposed to pass the exam smoothly, but now he has to confront the malevolent spirit head-on. Upon hearing this, 2 other teachers surrounded them. The Battle Royale mode is all about escaping. This is a classic case of getting arrogant once you have a contracted ghost. Mabel shook her head helplessly upon hearing this. She had already figured out Louis's tragic ending. At this moment, the formless ghost in the hospital roared angrily. In its eyes, the other party was just a piece of fat waiting to be bitten. And Luis stared at the formless ghost's eyes, ready to activate the dojutsu. Unexpectedly, the formless ghost flashed its figure and instantly circled behind him. This surprised Luis. What a fast body movement! He didn't have time to turn around. He felt a gust of wind coming towards him. Immediately, a ghost claw struck towards Luis's face. Seeing this scene, Lily and the others all covered their eyes. It's over. That's what he gets for underestimating a malevolent spirit-level Specter. But when the yellow-haired man sneakily took a glance, he immediately shouted in shock that Luis wasn't dead. Upon hearing this, Lily and Zion widened their eyes in surprise. Just then, Luis pinched his fingers and summoned the busted ghost, who swiftly manipulated the string. If the deathly chant had been activated 1 second later, Luis's head would probably have been eaten by the ghost. At this moment, the yellow-haired man was shocked and turned pale. Wasn't his contract upper limit only 0.5? How did he summon another contracted ghost? Zion's eyes widened in shock. Can the contract upper limit still increase? If we add his broken ghost that he contracted, then it would be 1.5. On weekdays, Zion mocks Luis for his capital. He says that his contract upper limit is 4 times higher than Luis. Luckily, Luis only has 1.5. My contract upper limit is 2. Just at this moment, Luis clicked his arm again, accompanied by a burst of ghost energy. The fierce chainsaw ghost suddenly appeared behind him. The enemies met with bloodshot eyes, and even the roar of the chainsaw grew a bit louder. Formless Ghost was filled with fear at the sight. The dizziness from the deathly chant made it unable to control its body. With Luis giving the order, Chainsaw Ghost swung the chainsaw and aimed at the neck of Formless Ghost. However, Formless Ghost was unable to move. It could only let the chainsaw cut through its body. It was quickly dismembered. Meanwhile, Chainsaw Ghost continued to swing the weapon in his hand, ready to steal my flesh. Just when Formless Ghost had 5% of his health left, Busted Ghost's deathly chant's execute threshold was triggered. The next second, Formless Ghost instantly exploded into a pool of red and white substance. Chainsaw Ghost's loyalty has increased by 20%, remaining 25%. Luis raised an eyebrow. This guy is surprisingly simple and honest. His likes and dislikes are entirely based on meat. Then Luis picked up the ghost orb dropped by the Formless Ghost. It's an orb of medium malevolent spirit rank. It would probably fetch tens of thousands on the black market. After all this, Luis will reclaim the contracted ghost back into his body. The intense battle just now shocked Lily and the other two. She transferred the Chainsaw Ghost to contract. Zion was instantly disheartened. 2 complete form ghosts and 1 broken ghost, I actually got surpassed by the student ranked last in the grade. And Lily feels equally uncomfortable. Luis's talent and insight have completely surpassed hers. At this rate, her top spot in age might not be guaranteed. At this point, a trace of viciousness flashed in Lily's eyes. She absolutely cannot let Luis continue to grow. Otherwise, it will definitely become a major problem in the future. At the same time, the exam headquarters also boiled over because of Luis's actions. In less than a day, he contracted 3 demons. This speed is almost catching up with the military district's top experts. One of the white-haired teachers exclaimed. Among the students who took the exam this year, besides the director's daughter single-handedly slaying 2 malevolent spirit specters, it was this kid named Luis who stood out the most. This praise instantly caught the attention of the exam minister. There are actually students who are not inferior to Gia. After the exam, Teacher Mabel, please contact him personally. Be sure to have him come here to practice for 2.5 years. At this moment, Luis is standing on the hospital rooftop observing the city. The city has turned into a ghost town. Countless specters are wandering the streets and alleys. Luis was somewhat excited to see this scene. If I could contract all of them, perhaps I could stand at the top of the world. Although I have only contracted 3 ghosts now. But it seems cool to have a whole army of specters. Paper Man then appeared in front of everyone. This exam is over. Now it's time to tally up the scores. Kenneth and Amara dropped out midway. Their scores are 0. Knox completed the contracted ghost task. His score is 60 points. Zion contracted and vanquished a vengeful ghost-level specter, and also defeated another specter. His score is 70 points. Lily contracted and vanquished a vengeful ghost-level specter, defeated 2 vengeful ghost-level specters, and scored 80 points. At this point, Paper Man paused for a moment. Louise contracted 3 specters, defeated 5 vengeful ghosts, and 1 malevolent spirit. The specter's performance achieved a score of 90 points. Congratulations on being the MVP of the Ghost Domain exam this time. Your reward is 1 Blue Corpse Ghost Orb. Luis looked excitedly at the reward in his hand, including the 6 Ghost Orbs he obtained in the Ghost Domain. These are enough to help the Blood-Eye Ghost level up to the Malevolent Spirit rank. By then, it will be able to activate 2 skills. He then threw the orb into the bag filled with loot. Zion was immediately infuriated. He actually put the Blue Corpse Ghost Orb into the trash bag. What an ignorant brat. At this moment, Paper Man suddenly bursts into flames. Congratulations on passing the exam. I will now send you back. As soon as the words fell, everyone was surrounded by a ring of fire. At the same time, inside the school, beautiful teacher Maisie is anxiously waiting. Accompanied by the bright transmission screen in the classroom, figures reappeared in their seats, while Maisie was excitedly preparing to meet it. The next second, her face was filled with shock. Moans of sorrow filled the classroom. My leg is broken. It hurts so much. Quickly call an ambulance. My eyes were scratched blind by Specter. There's another classmate lying on the ground, barely breathing. The body was full of inexplicable wounds, and blood was constantly flowing out. Seeing the situation, Maisie quickly notified the rescue team. Doctor, come quickly. This classmate has lost too much blood and urgently needs a blood transfusion. As the rescue team carried out the classmates one by one for treatment. At this moment, Maisie noticed Luis in the back row. He actually came back alive from the level A ghost domain. Maisie was startled when she saw Luis's dumbfounded look. This is a typical manifestation after suffering psychological trauma in the ghost domain. So she immediately hugged Luis and gently reassured him that everything was okay. It's all over now. The sudden tenderness made Luis a little overwhelmed. His previous behavior was simply due to his eyes not being able to adjust to the strong light during the teleportation. Subsequently, Luis awkwardly pointed at the screen. Teacher, 90 points MVP. Upon hearing this, Maisie quickly let go of him. How is that possible? The person who ranked last in the school actually broke the school record. Right away, Maisie seemed like a different person, constantly praising. You truly live up to being my student. I've always said you have a promising future, kid. After hearing this, Luis was speechless. You've forgotten how you used to scold me in the past. Later, Maisie noticed the bag on his seat. Luis mentioned that it was something he picked up in Ghost Domain. She saw the treasures inside with bloodstains. Maisie was shocked instantly. It's already impressive for an ordinary person to pass level A Ghost Domain. But he actually has the time to touch things from the deceased. So you mainly go to the Ghost Domain to pick up things. You passed an exam along the way. And his courage. Let Maisie feel that a new star in the Ghost Tamer world is rising steadily. Suddenly, there was a sound of a swish next to Luis. I saw that Nico had actually fallen asleep during the teleportation back. I hope he didn't sleep for a whole day in the Ghost Domain. When Luis saw the information on his screen, he couldn't help but admire and give a thumbs up. I would call you the king of slacking off. Later, Luis poked Nico, but he just wouldn't wake up. When Luis took out money and said he would treat him to a meal, Nico immediately opened his eyes. I might have woken up suddenly. I even heard that the Iron Rooster is going to pluck its feathers. Later, The two were on their way to the restaurant. Luis received a call from his dad. "How did my good son do on the exam? Will you be able to get into college?" Upon hearing Luis say he got the MVP title for Level A Ghost Domain, the old couple were immediately excited. "Now I don't think anyone in the village dares to say my son is an idiot." "Dad," Brandon flicked the blood off the scythe. "If you run out of money, just let the family know. I'll send it to you after selling the wheat these days." After hearing this, Luis quickly said it was unnecessary. "I made quite a bit of money in Ghost Domain. The 40 acres of wheat at home really are a bit too much. If you can't harvest it all, just hire a harvester. Don't worry. Your mom and I are both in good health." They chatted for a while, and then Luis hung up the phone. At this moment, Brandon and Anne were standing in the field holding a scythe. However, they were not cutting wheat. They were cutting rows of live human heads. "Our security bureau will not let you leftovers get away." Brandon's face darkened instantly. "A small security bureau? I've long killed all the bad elements inside." He then used the scythe to chop off the head of the man in black. At this time, Anne asked softly, "This is already the 7th wave of attacks this year. Do you think the security bureau has discovered us?" But Brandon expressed that it shouldn't be the case. They might have just expanded the scope of their search. After saying that, he turned fierce. "If they push me too far, I will go to the provincial capital and slaughter all the people from the security bureau." While Luis was on the phone, Nico rudely ordered a ton of dishes. Luis saw it in his eyes and felt it in his heart. Careless. These dishes that cost over 600 yuan are just appetizers for him at most. After eating for a while, Luis asked Nico what kind of ghost he had encountered in the Level D Ghost Domain contract. "I contracted a trash bin ghost, and then hid inside it for a whole day. I was almost starving to death," Nico said as he gulped down a large skewer of meat. "Unfortunately, today we are going our separate ways. You are going to further your studies at a university, while I can only go to college. Don't forget about me when you become successful." Luis shook his head after hearing that. "It's not certain whether I can go to a university. My theoretical grades are the bottom of the whole school." At this moment, Nico pointed at the TV and exclaimed, "Quick, look! There's a beauty!" The TV report was about Jia, the daughter of the Security Bureau director. She single-handedly defeated 2 superior malevolent spirits in the exam. And it also included a photo of her. Luis sneered. "The cultivation resources provided by the Security Bureau. Killing 2 malevolent spirits is nothing special." And Nico immediately retorted, "Why can't you grasp the main point? I was talking about the beauty. Besides, with our background, we are not even worthy to carry someone's shoes." Luis said somewhat disdainfully, "You have a typical simp mindset. No wonder you've been pursuing tank from the next class for 3 years without success. It's like you end up with nothing in the end." This speech directly triggered depression in Nico. "You really know how to hit where it hurts. It's making me lose my appetite." Nico then changed the topic. "Jia is definitely going to attend the prestigious Frost Phoenix Academy. Don't forget to take some photos for me if you go there." Luis grinned mischievously after listening. "Don't worry. Do you want me to give you a couple more revealing photos?" After hearing that, Nico asked in confusion, "What do you mean by revealing photos?" Luis suddenly realized. He had forgotten that the terminology in this world was different from theirs. They kept eating until 11 o'clock. Nico patted his stomach and bid farewell to Luis. Luis then hailed a taxi and prepared to go back. After he stated the address, he immediately lowered his head to play with his phone. But soon Luis realized something was wrong. "This doesn't seem to be the way to my destination." The driver didn't respond. Instead, a cunning smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Just as Luis was about to summon the contracted ghost, a taxi suddenly slammed on the brakes and came to a stop in front of an unfinished building. Luis inside the car was directly dragged out, only to hear the driver speaking to a girl in the distance. "The boss has been delivered." Luis, relying on the 3 ghosts in his body, remained calm. Instead, he stared at her back, feeling symptoms of a Mendelian disease. But when he saw the girl wearing a clown girl costume, Luis immediately looked disgusted. Turns out he's a backstabber. This sentence angered clown girl, making her eyes widen. What did you say? Congratulations to host for winning 20 defense breaking points. Luis was surprised. Isn't this point too easy to come by? Shortly after, clown girl angrily walked towards Luis and kicked him directly on the car door. The intelligence tells me that you earned a lot of ghost orbs in ghost domain. If you are sensible, hand over all the orbs. I might consider sparing you a kidney. Luis panicked as soon as he heard it. So, kidney removal is also a trend in this world. So he shrugged his shoulders. Miss, I have weak kidneys since I was young. My kidneys are as small as sesame seeds. If you need them, you can just take them all away. Clown girl got so angry that she burst into curses. Am I talking to you about kidneys? I was talking about ghost orb. But Luis continued to play dumb in response. What kind of orb is that? Can it be eaten? You seem to be unaware of your situation. Have you seen the news? I am the notorious boss of the Black Death Gang. Clown girl approached Luis aggressively half a month ago, when the security bureau surrounded me. I wielded 2 watermelon knives and slashed from South Street to North Street without blinking an eye. Who knew that? Luis curiously asked. You haven't blinked for so long. Aren't your eyes getting dry? At this moment, clown girl killed Luis in her heart. I say I kill without blinking. You ask me if my eyes get dry. Please bring out the ghost orb for me right now. Immediately. Right now. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 60 defense breaking points. A strong man with a knife walked over at this moment. Boss, stop wasting time talking to this kid. Why don't we just snatch it away directly? Seeing this, Luis forcefully pushed away the clown girl. She was really going to cut my kidney. Watching Luis quickly run away into the distance. Strongman and driver both tapped their arms. As the ghost energy gradually dissipated, a drunk ghost holding a wine barrel and a road ghost with half a body appeared. After a command from the clown girl, the drunk ghost and road ghost instantly pounced on Luis. With a loud bang, the ground was instantly smashed into a large pit by the 2 ghosts. And Luis dodged quickly with the speed increase from contracted ghost. Luis watched as they launched another attack. Luis's face turned serious. This is my first time battling Ghost Master. I must not be careless. At this moment, he recalled that the news did mention the Black Death Gang. It was just a small-scale theft gang. As for Clown Girl saying she would take down the security bureau, it's nothing but a fabrication. Upon closer consideration, Luis feels that the other party may not be that difficult to deal with after all. At this moment, Strongman suddenly let out a loud roar. I saw a drunk ghost pick up the wine barrel and pour wine into his mouth in big gulps. Then he sprayed the wine towards Luis's position. The wine in his stomach turned into a ball of vapor. In the blink of an eye, Luis was surrounded by vapor. Soon he felt dizzy, like he had drunk 2 pounds of alcohol. Watching Luis wobble in place, Clown Girl smirked and said, "Let me show you our chain control." Immediately, a bandaged ghost and a nightmare ghost were summoned by her. Luis was suddenly shocked. This woman actually has 2 superior vengeful ghosts. Clown Girl excitedly launched an attack towards Luis. She seems confident about this battle. Watching bandaged ghost inserting his hand into the ground to activate a skill, and the other 3 ghosts quickly rushed towards him. Luis inwardly thought to himself, "This is not good." So he quickly slapped himself a few times, trying to sober up a bit from being drunk. The scene left Clown Girl and the other 2 stunned. They all raised their thumbs to show their approval of Luis as a tough guy. After regaining some consciousness, Luis immediately widened his eyes and glared at Blood Eye. At this moment, he found 2 bandages attacking towards him from the ground. Just as Clown Girl thought she had succeeded, Luis dodged the attack in a split second with a backflip. This made Strongman and Clown Girl somewhat disbelieving. How is that possible? He actually knew Bandage's location. But when they saw Luis's blood eye on the right eye, they understood. Clown Girl frowned. This is a bit tricky now. So she said to the driver and Strongman, "You guys work together. Surround him." Shortly after, four ghosts came attacking from different directions. However, Luis remained calm and unruffled. He simply pointed at the pattern on his arm with his hand. The busted ghost suddenly appeared above Luis's head. At the same time, the guqin in its hand emitted a sound of rapid raindrops on the strings, accompanied by the activation of the skill, the Deathly Chant. The heads of the three clown girls exploded with a bang, and the four contracted ghosts were also frozen in place by the sound of the harp. Seeing this, Luis shouted loudly, "Come out, Chainsaw Ghost!